So I've been to two doctor's visits in the last couple of weeks. So I just kind of wanted to paint a little visual of what it's like for a 74-year-old heart patient to go to his doctor's appointments in the state of Florida. Now, mind you, where I am, we have no public facilities at all. Everything is corporate. I don't know if that is in general across the United States nowadays, but it ain't like it used to be. There's no small time doctors that have their own little offices somewhere. Maybe out in the country, but not here in town. So anyway, about a couple weeks ago, I had to go for my heart doctor appointment. No big deal, nothing. It's just I have to go. Once you have a heart problem, then you become a heart patient. So they get you. You got. So I'm going in. I've been going in about every 6 months. So this was like my 6-month checkup. I had he didn't even do blood work for me. I got to do blood work next time I go. But I've been including what he would normally put in his blood work into my GP's when I do her blood work. So he can just look on his little laptop and see exactly what my numbers are within a couple of months. So anyway, that's that was nothing. That was just I was probably there for few minutes and check your vitals. You know how they do. They check your blood pressure and put the stethoscope on your heart, and he doesn't even do that. I did have to get an EKG, which surprised me. And of course it was fine. Nothing abnormal about it. Other than I do get I do get some dips in the signal of it because of what happened, which I'm not talking about that part. So I'm sitting there minding my own business, right? My wife's with me, and she comes with me mainly because I'm a little hard of hearing. I'm a lot hard of hearing, and I've never found any hearing aids that I can wear. They're just all horrible so far, and I'm not spending thousands of dollars on something that just makes everything sound like a bunch of noise. So I'm sitting there minding my own business, and here he comes. Your typical Florida old man, redneck, got a big old gut on him, and gray hair, talking like this, He's got bringing his wife in, and poor thing was very ill. She needed some help. He had to actually help her in. Yeah, I'd say they're both in their pews. She looked actually younger than him, but I'd say they're at least late 60s, mid 70s, somewhere in there. So this guy starts in. He looks straight at me and my wife, and he goes, "You know who Rand Paul is?" My wife, before I can really say anything, my wife goes, "Yeah, we know Rand Paul is, sir. Blah blah blah." I don't believe my wife called him sir. She just, I don't know. So then he went into this dissertation about Fauci, that criminal and all this kind of stuff. And just, I don't agree with any of that. I think Dr. Fauci is a fine man and did the best he could with what he was given. considering he started out in that freaking Trump thing. But neither here nor there. My wife immediately shot me the look. Don't you dare say anything or make a scene here. And I know that look, and I know she meant it. So I refrained. Although I was really, now I'm getting, and he won't stop looking at me. And there's a redneck good old boy who's sitting down a few feet, or on the other side of the door actually from us, who's, you could tell he's agreeing with this guy. He's kind of grinning and thinking this guy's getting over on me, and he's not wearing a mask. And here we all are sitting in this doctor's office. Now finally the nurses go, like, everybody in here, you need to wear masks if you're going to sit in here. Of course my wife and I were always wearing masks. So he looks at us, and again, I thought he was going to leave us alone. So he looks at us and goes, "Well, now, where are you folks from? You from Tallahassee?" And I said, "Nope, I'm a military brat." And then, my wife goes, "Well, I'm from Chipley, but I spent most of my adult life in Nashville, and then I ended up in Pensacola." And and when I said I was a military brat, I said a couple of things. I'm, been around, born in Germany. I didn't say much more than that. So he sits there and he thinks for a minute, he's trying to think of some other thing to say. And he goes, "Well, now you've been around. What's your favorite country?" He actually said that to me. So that was it. I went off. My wife, I could tell her she was tensing up. But I was proud of myself, but I did go off. I gave this guy the dissertation of my life. My family's been here since 1623. They came over with William Penn, and they on my dad's side, and then they wandered down through the Ohio River and the Ohio Valley, and they all ended up in Indiana. And I said they were Irish and German and Scottish, and we have some Potawatomi and some Chippewa Ojibwe. And I go, Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe. Just do that and just rub it in a little bit. Meanwhile, there's this black guy that I noticed who's kind of dressed all funny. He's just got on a bunch of loud clothes. He doesn't care. Great. I like that. But he starts listening to this, and he's kind of grinning because he's hip to what's happening. And then the good old boy, he's listening. The other good old boy. So I went on and on and on. I talked about Vietnam. I talked about my father, World War II. I talked about, my people fought in wars that blah, blah, blah. I even think I told him that I protested against the war in Vietnam just to piss him, just to rub it in even more. So I kind of got done. Well, my wife, I think she reached over and grabbed my hand and squeezed it, which means, shut up. So I obey. It might have taken me a word or two, but I. So that was the end of that, really. I mean, it just was. But so typical. There's tons of other people he could have talked to, but he picked me to try to pick a fight with, is what he was doing. And he I think he even said, "Bless your heart," and, something like that. Not exactly "bless your heart," but it was, you Southern people know what I'm talking about. He was blessing my heart to death. So today, I went to my GP, who takes care of the rest of my problems. I've got diabetes, and I have, my high blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. And but that visit went nice. And then there's just another normal checkup. I have to go to both these doctors. I go to my heart doctor about once every 6 months, and I go to her about every 4 months. And she's a very nice lady. She's a highly melanated lady, and she's a lady. But I really I love her. I like her. I get the feeling from her that she's literally feels obligated to take care of me and do the right thing. Now, whether sometimes I argue with her whether it's the right thing or not, but she's getting used to me being like a grumpy old man like that, and she just laughs, because I care. I crack stupid jokes, and and I'm sarcastic a little bit, and now she's starting to laugh underneath her mask. I can tell. So we did that. We had a pleasant visit. All right, so this next part I'm going to tell you is going to be descriptive, like the old man at the heart place. So I walk out of the examination room, and I'm, heading out. I still have these forms because it's, I haven't been to the doctor this year, and every year you got to fill out all these forms for this company. It's a company. Private enterprise doctor thing. Industry. So I'm coming out, and all of a sudden the hallways are full, and this old man is just like, I think he looks like he's dying, and everybody's trying to help him and get him into his I don't know why they even bothered trying to weigh him, but that's what they were doing. They're trying to weigh him and get him to sit him back down in his wheelchair. And his wife, I'm assuming his wife was sitting there, and she was just staring at me, and I'm back. I'm probably 10, 15 feet away from him. There's no place I could go. They were blocking the hallway. And I'm trying to be, I was nice. I tried to say, well, hey, hello, I hope everything's okay. And she just stared, never said a word. They finally get done. They move right next to me. They walk right next to me. I walked by them. I didn't think about it. I walked outside, go out into the waiting room, and my wife's gone. And I'm like, well, that's odd. But I finished my paperwork that I had to do. And I, got my appointments all set up for the next time. I got to go back sometime in July or something. And she keeps bugging me about getting, my endoscopic surgery. And she wants me to stick that camera up my butt so bad, which I'm probably going to do, but I'm not thrilled about it. And I've told her that so much, but I'm tired of listening to her about it, so big deal. So I go outside, and there's my wife hanging around outside. Now, back in the old days, she probably would have been smoking a cigarette and complaining, but she was just on her phone and da-da-da. And I go, oh, what's the deal, baby? Why are you out here? And she's, it's kind of chilly, so I'm putting on my flannel shirt. It's chilly for Florida. I had a t-shirt and a flannel shirt on. Last week it was 80 something. So I go, what's going on? She got bored, tired, and she goes, didn't you see those people? I go, well, I saw some people in the hallway. I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. She goes, that man had COVID. And I'm like, good God. He couldn't walk he was really, really sick. And I go, well, they looked so pissed, and his wife looked really pissed. And she goes, they came in here, and their daughter came with them, and none of them had a mask on. The nurses came out and insisted that they put masks on. The daughter said, I can't wear a mask. And the daughter and the nurses said, well, I'm so sorry. You can't be in this building. And she made a big thing and blah, blah, blah. She left. Or she went outside. I don't know if she was waiting in her car. She wasn't in there. So, and what had happened is the guy had been in the hospital a week ago with COVID. The same hospital, by the way, they wanted to take me where I was going to get my endoscopic surgery, and I didn't do it. And if I find out there's a bunch of COVID patients there, I ain't going to do it then either. But whatever. So that was the deal. This guy had, and they're still not wearing masks. Bah humbug. So I can't believe the utter stupidity of somebody that is that ill and that sick and not caring about themselves and not caring about their loved ones or caring about the other people that are around them. To me, that's just, well, it's just not polite, is it? Damn it. It's not polite. Anyway, Florida doctors, Florida healthcare. God only knows what's going to happen to us. They make us think about selling our house and busting out of here. But I'm almost pissed off enough, as much as I would like to move to southern Arizona, actually, or even New Mexico up around Albuquerque. I think it's nice around those areas, but I like the desert. And I would do that. We could probably afford to do that. Maybe in New Mexico. I don't know. We wouldn't be able to live in Tucson or Mesa or any fairly expensive place, but we could live out in the Tule Bonds a little bit. But then we're in the same old thing. I don't want to. Why should I leave? This is just as much my home as it is any fat old redneck piece of shit. So the way I look at it is make me. I'm not a coward. Ron DeSantis and the boys, they want to kick me out of my home and run me out of town and tar and feather me. Let them try. Come on. Look at me. See, I get all pissed. I get all worked up. I start having a southern accent. I've lived here too long. Anyway, that's enough. If you made it this far, I don't know how you did it. But thanks. And adios. Buenas noches. Yeah. Florida. Whoopee.